Khai Clancy, part 2. Let's do it. Let's get it.
Yes, man. Thank you for having me back on.
Anytime, bro. So the first time we kind of spoke about your origin story, overview of what you did, but now let's kind of focus on what you really do. So right now you work at ASAP Credit Solutions as a senior.
Bro, I turned off all notifications. So
no worries. We haven't gotten to the meat yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, just let it out.
Is there like a preference on here? Sounds.
Do you have like a little switch on? Do you have an iPhone? Yeah.
No, I have a Mac. So that's literally just coming through my Mac though. That's what we're doing this off of a Mac. So. Yeah, give me a second. Let me just look for
I'm gonna pause it. Dope. All right. So like I was saying, part 2 of Khai Clancy. Last time we spoke about what you did, how you got into entrepreneurship, your background story, and now so right now you're working as a senior credit repair specialist at ASAP Credit Solutions, right?
Yeah, growing that while growing Flawless Consulting, right? So I'm working with ASAP, learning as much as I can, and then eventually just going to be on my own. Still partnered up with them, with my mentor Timo, but right now just at ASAP growing and like just pretty much branding Flawless Consulting under them.
I feel that. So just to provide a context, not everyone knows what credit repair is, what the importance of a credit card is. So let's just start with the basic one-on-one stuff. So what is credit repair?
Well, So at a young age, right, we're either taught one of two things. That you could get a little plastic card and just run it up and not really worry about it. No one really like educates you on, what to keep that 30% utilization at or why to keep it at 30%. Or they teach you that credit's bad, right? Having debt's bad and not being able to leverage it correctly is bad. But realistically, like we were saying last time, it's really easy to go and get a student loan to get 130, 140 grand in debt, which is in a blink of an eye, right? But to get established with your actual FICO score, because all of FICO score, all of your credit is just an algorithm, right? Of what have you done? So what has Khai purchased? It's like broken up into 5 or 6 different things, 5 things to be specific, right? So the most is your payment history. That's about 35% of your credit, right? 30% is your credit utilization. So where you're at. Those 2 things right there. If you could just pay your bills on time, keeping your utilization under 30%, if you have a revolving line of credit, you're going to be in the good. And so,
wait, what's utilization?
Utilization, right? So what am I using? So say I have $100, right? I'm not trying to go.
Okay, got it. So all those things kind of add up to what your FICO score ultimately is, right?
Exactly, right? So I go to the bank, and how they used to do it, right? It's you get suited up, and however you present yourself is how much they're going to be able to lend you, right? So, man, they came up with the FICO score, which is an algorithm. Pretty much all 3 of the bureaus came out with it. And what that is just to be able to judge you, judge your personality off of your payment history, right? So the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, all these things came together because at the end of the day, credit, when it was first made, you could have your life ruined, by nothing, right? There was no one really it was a wild, wild west in the way. What you were reported didn't really, there was no, statute of limitations, anything like that, right? So my big thing with credit restoration is, say you were to have 120-day late payment, right? No one knows this, but that's a key derogatory, right? What those are going to affect your credit for, just as long as a repossession would, right? So 120 days, no one understands that 120-day late payment is going to hurt your credit for the next 7 to 10 years. It's going to hurt your credit just as much as a repossession would. And then after that 7 to 10 years, it's not just going to fall off. You're still going to have to reach out to someone like me, who's, most of the time. And this is the funny thing, right? Because people have a weird idea of what credit is, right? And credit restoration is, because most of the time these guys are doing it out of their third closet in their apartment. They're getting these, generic Google Docs. They're sending these Google Docs to all 3 of the bureaus, and it's snail mail, right? So they're going to go ahead and snail mail it. So it's going to take a couple weeks. And then they're going to get hit with the e-Oscar machine. E-Oscar machine is what, all 3 of these bureaus came up with to be able to, because I'm pretty sure there's like 20 million claims right now, disputes, right, at the bureaus. So there's no way that they're going to have a team of people be able to look at it, face to face, every single one of them, and do their investigation, right? So what they did, they curated the e-Oscar machine. The e-Oscar machine is an artificial intelligence machine that pretty much just goes through. And if it's able to see one thing that matches on your account, they verify it, right? Because all I'm doing as disputing your accounts on your behalf is I'm asking them to do, one of three things: verify that it's you, update it to negative, or give me the proof that that it's positive, right? So they have to, within 30 days of my disputes. And that's why, the question, you have a question you were going to ask me, how long does it take, right? So realistically for me, I have an expedited service. I'm looking to get, the restoration part of it done within 90 to 120 days. My big guys that I compete with are like the Lexington Laws, right? Who bring on 500, 600, 700 clients a month. It's like $130 down payment. And then it's like $99 a month for 36 months, right? They just drag you out. I'm looking to get this done within 90 to 120 days, right? So, I mean, realistically, it's a little bit more of an upfront cost, but you're getting it done. I have money back guarantees in place that these other people aren't able to guarantee, right? Because I really trust my service that much. If I can't get a 70% deletion rate, I don't want to take your money.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got to ask this though. So maybe I'm being very naive here, but why do they need this service? Like, why do they put themselves in this hole?
Yeah. Okay. So this is the thing, right? So, I mean, say that you're in either one of two categories, right? So, I mean, if you're a young guy like us, like, I don't have a lot of credit when I was first getting started. I didn't have, damn near, I had, like I said, I had two loans. I had a Honda financial loan, and then I had a Care credit card, right? From like a dental thing.
Okay.
I didn't know that to be a 700, you have to have 4 to 6 positive open accounts, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to go get a car loan. Got my car loan, still have the motorcycle, have a couple credit cards now. So now I'm playing with enough positive accounts to where my credit's going to be able to raise. So there's certain ways to where if, you need to get business funding, we could talk and I'm able to help you, because the banks are only going to loan you what you've been loaned before, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, it's kind of it's almost like, applying for a job. And nowadays, like, people get out of college to like, hey, like, you need this degree, or you need 3 years of experience, or you need this degree and 3 years of experience, right? It's like, well, how do I get that experience if I can't even, I haven't even gotten started yet in a way. And so there's certain ways to be able to, not trick the system, but just make it happen for you. Authorize user cards slowly but surely. There's My Jewelers Club. Here's one. If you go on My Jewelers Club, they'll give you a $5,000 limit, right? Pay $50. Just pay this, $50 a month. Buy your mom a nice little silver chain, some earrings, whatever it is. For you to have that revolve, that's a positive account, right? It's a pretty high limit, 5K. Don't go run up to 5K. But for you to be able to have a positive open account like that, money. Okay. Yeah.
But my point is, like, people run into these problems because I think as Americans, we're very consumer centric, right? So is that why we run into these problems where people, unfortunately have to have these credit repair services because their spending habits are really bad for the most part?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, 100%, right? So if you're looking at debt, in the way of, okay, I could leverage this, I could use someone else's money to be able to gain a lot of money, right? If you have like something that you could really bet on, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time, what people are using credit for is the consumer mindset, right? The 97% of America, that's in the hamster wheel, right? Because unfortunately, there has to be losers for there to be winners. And you're not a loser if you have bad credit. It's just something we're not taught in a way. So realistically, most people are taught just to boom, 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 boom. They don't even think about it, right? They don't understand to keep it under 30% utilization. They don't understand that if you max out a credit card, if you have $1,000 limit and you go $1,000 and $1 over, it's going to hurt your account as like just as much as a repossession with 7 to 10 years.
Is that in a fine print? If you open up a new credit card, does it say that in a fine print? Like, look, bro, if you spend another $1 over your limit, then it's going to be bad on you.
Account. It becomes a delinquent account.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Okay. You know what I mean? But realistically, they're not going to tell you, hey, keep it under 30%. The good credit card companies will. No one really understands that when you go on Credit Karma, you don't get your actual score. It's an inflated score, right? So that's a marketing site. So when I go on Credit Karma, what I'm doing, I'm logging on, I'm seeing my score. Let's say it's a 700. Woo, 700. They're inflating it 30 to 40 points, right? They're telling me that I'm pre-approved for these 5 to 6 cards, with really shitty interest rates. They're prepaid cards. You go to apply, right? You go to apply for these cards. Every time that they don't approve you, because 95.9% of the time they're not going to approve you because you don't really qualify for that, right? Your score is inflated to where it's not the correct numbers, right? Those are non-account holding inquiries. Those are going to hurt your score 5 to 9 points. Every time you go to a dealership, right, and they run your credit and they blast you out, let's try to get him, approved. They're doing that on purpose, 5 to 9 points for every non-account holding inquiry. Like lenders give you 2. Every single year they give you 2 non-account holding inquiries before they start raising an eyebrow. Why is he asking for so much money? And why isn't anyone giving it to him, right? So there's certain packages where after you go to the dealership and you try to get approved and it doesn't work, I have like an inquiry buster, right? Where I'm able to go and I could do an audit on all those non-account holding inquiries. And I run at a 90% deletion rate when it comes to those. I also have to say this, right? Because you can never guarantee anything in credit. Historically speaking, over the 1,500 people we've been able to help, we've never had to send anyone back their money, right? And so that's with the 70% deletion rate within the 90 to 120 day time frame. So men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And you saw me post that today, right?
Mm-hmm. Wait, so
if you could find, I want to say this now, if you could find a better credit repair company, please let me know. I want to talk to you. I want to know what you guys are doing different.
I feel that. Wait, so just to bring it back to the basics again, what's the incentive for having a credit card? Like you mentioned, you can either have a very consumer-centric mindset where you want to spend on materialistic things, or you can use that money as capital to fund your business, right? Is that really how it is? That's the incentive for getting a credit card or not?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you use, so say, so there's multiple ways as a business owner that you could use credit. You could get full out loans, right? We could build you shelf corps. We can go ahead and make it so that, you're able to, without your name being on there, you know what I mean? Your LLC opens that credit. It takes on that line of credit at that point. There's certain ways. Or, you can go ahead and, what's the best way to say this? We're gonna have
for a business you're talking about,
so what realistically on the back end, right? So if you're to go ahead and get a personal credit card and just on a credit card, right?
Yeah.
For your business account, and you get the correct ones with higher limits, the better lower interest rates, things of that nature. At that point you're writing it off on your business because it's a business expense. You're able to get frequent flyer miles, things of that nature. That's a tongue twister, but realistically like that, right? So you're able to leverage it correctly to where my boss, he call him up, Timo, he's a killer, right? So what he does is he spends our marketing budget, right? And he gets, I'm pretty sure, like 25% back on it's like 5 to 10 percent of what he gets. So like $2,500 back of our marketing dollars every single month because he puts it on his credit card, right? So just like that, they're giving him a percentage back for spending with them through that credit card. That's like free money. And then he literally puts it back in, and then he just uses that as the marketing fund because he's built it up enough. So, I mean, if you get the correct cards, and my guy, Paul, what we do is after you go through my restoration part, we're going to educate you along the whole way. That's like our whole goal, is because, like I said last time, you're only as, useful as how much value you bring to people, right? So if you're able to educate along the way, I'm able to, help you continue to grow after you're out of my program. You're going to continue to spread my name. We're going to continue to help, and you're going to, realistically keep doing business with me because there's so much that you can do. Amazon stores, getting into trucking, we help a lot of truckers stop living someone else's dream, right? I always say you have to live someone else's dream until you live your own, right?
Oh, yeah, I did.
And what we do is we help them get funding, even 10, 15, 20 grand. They're able to go ahead and put 7 to 10 grand down on a truck. They already know exactly what they're doing. We have certain ways to be able to help them get jobs and things of that nature. So, I mean, we're really helping these people, change their life through credit repair. And
yeah.
it's crazy.
And it's kind of like an essential thing because say if you have a bad credit score, then you're not going to be eligible to get any
People don't
loans.
understand. So going into 2021, right? So 2021, supposedly, not even supposedly, you could see it as like there's a shift. There's a crypto shift. Money's starting to kind of go away, right? You can't go someplace. Most places in Arizona, you have to have exact change, or they're only taking card. It's just there's no like none of the above. So there's
Yeah.
there's a real shift where it's just gonna be swiping, right? There's a new thing called Fico 10. So Fico 10, and it's kind of random how all this is playing at one time, right? But what Fico 10 is, so from this point on, 24 months from now, I'm able to go and look back and say, where was Kai's credit at, right? The banks are able to, if I'm at a 585 today, and then in 2 months you've been in my program, now you're at a 710, 715, 720, they're gonna be like, whoa, what's going on, right? Say it happens in a year though, there's going to be even more of a time where like your score was slowly increasing. So what they're going to do is they're going to approve you for somewhere in the middle. Yeah. And so what's happening is now it's, set in stone to be able to help the banks more. They're not going to have to lend as much. They're going to be able to, make a lot more money. They're going to be able to be a lot more picky. So it's not something to help the consumer, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Wait, this is out of curiosity, it's kind of random, but do you know the story of the person or why this person invented their credit card? It's kind of like.
So it was what FICO is made out of here. Let me get the two dudes' names. It's two dudes that created what credit is, right?
Because in a way, it really does stimulate the economy based on money that people don't really have. So it's really interesting. I think I watched a YouTube video on it, and it was really interesting of how everything played out. But I think someone introduced it just to stimulate the economy, and people, Americans just went off on it,
So, okay, so that's what it was, right? So I was going to say this earlier. So credit wasn't created with a FICO score until 1956, right? So up until 1956, you would legitimately go into a bank, but it was Earl Isaac and what was his name? Bill Fair, right? So that's what FICO is. Put it together. So what happened was you would go in, and like I said, you would just go ahead and it would just be like pretty much an interview. But before that, you could pretty much report anything to FICO. So the Fair Debt Collection Practice, or the Fair Credit Reporting Act is what pretty much made that, like, where there's certain limitations what you could report, how long it could affect you and your credit. But it's unless you get it disputed, unless you get it taken off, I mean, it's going to be on there, and underwriting, people are going to always be able to see it, right? And so that's why I think that the restoration is so important, right? You pick and choose pretty much, right?
Yeah. So what was your rate again? I think you said like 70.
Yeah, so 70%. I work until a 70% deletion rate, always under promise and over deliver, right? That's my big thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not going to stop at 70% and say, okay, have a good day. No, I'm trying to go to the whole 100%, right? I go up 6 rounds. But yeah, no, we're trying to get it done within 90 to 120 days.
Okay. And this is very like technical, at least from my viewpoint here, but what are the steps to restoring or helping someone's credit score?
Yeah. So, I mean, so there's some things I just can't even, that it's just, that's the secret sauce. It is what it is. How, we are able to get it done in such a quick time frame.
Yeah.
Like I said, what makes my process different? Okay, so a regular credit firm would, go ahead and draft up all these generic documents that they found off of Google, right? At that point, they're going to go ahead and snail mail them, hit the e-Oscar machine, immediately get it bounced back. That's why they're trying to do it over 9, 10, 12 months. Like, say, like, okay, let's go ahead and, they're letting you know, like, these are what you should be, like, ready for, because they're getting everything kicked back until it's a certain point. We have advanced dispute packets and master dispute strategies to where I'm able to, it's not like per a letter type thing. And then I also have direct representatives at the bureaus. So I'm able to, so say me and you were in business today, right? I'm going to go through your credit. I'm going to see exactly what's wrong with it. We're going to be on the same page with what accounts are hurting your FICO score. At that point, I'm going to be able to dispute them. My girl Maria tomorrow will go ahead and reach out to you, right? She'll be able to break down everything I broke down. She'll draft up all these master dispute packets to make sure that, I didn't miss anything. And then by that third day, because we have a 3-day process, by the third day, your packets are already in the hands of my guys at the bureaus. Okay. Right? So that's why we're able to make it happen. Within 30 to 35 days, you're already seeing real results on your credit. And so, I mean, there's no one in the nation, like, genuinely that's, like, doing it like that, And so.
Yeah. But how much does it cost? Because I feel like people they might want to save money and do it by themselves. I don't know, but like, is it really like logistically really hard to do it?
So I could build it. I could go to Home Depot. I could get all the bricks. I can get all the concrete, and I could build a house, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be able to, really build a house. I'm going to get a professional to build my house. And so credit's the same way. But realistically, we're not the most expensive. But I can say that, free service isn't good and good service isn't free.
Yeah.
Right? That's just genuinely the truth. And you could say, like, when I talk to the people that come from the Lexington laws and stuff, the bigger guys, and they're like, I paid $199 for the past 3 months. And it's like, well, I respect you, sir. I with all respect, what did they get removed? You paid for $199 worth of work. But, realistically, I have payment plans and stuff. Our most expensive plans are anywhere between, $750, $1,500, $2,000. If you were to go and get the same level of, like, because we're not a credit repair company, we're a credit repair firm, right? And I genuinely believe that, because I don't just do the restoration. I help you get funding, help you build your shelf corps. There's no other company that does it, like what we're going to be able to help you and give you that level of service. The only other person that I could, see would be a lawyer. And that's just the truth. With our master dispute packets and things of that nature, that's what makes us a little bit different and helps us have that quote unquote secret sauce in a way. But I mean, I'm never going to put anyone in a bad position. Yeah, I'm always looking to help. I'm always looking to, if I can, save you a couple of bucks.
Yeah. So, of course, no one wants to be in this position, right? No one wants to be in this position. But so what are some actions? Like, say you need the money to, like, say you're an optimist and you want to start a business, you need 20K, 10K. What are some actions at least that you should take or consider, or just to know, so that you don't get in that bad position of having a bad credit score and then having it affect your records?
Right. So your goal as an entrepreneur should be to get your credit score above a 680, right? At that point, you become eligible for some pretty solid funding, 20, 30 grand, with a pretty solid interest rate. If you go through the right people, you always have to go through the right people, go through a professional. I'm not saying go through me, go talk to your credit union, go talk to whoever you believe that is your person, right? But we definitely can set up calls if that's like something people wanted to do in the future. But realistically, yeah. So, pay your bills on time. Don't open up a bunch of new credit if you're trying to go and get a loan pretty soon, because that's one of the ways that they base your credit is your credit history, your credit length. So yeah, I mean, if you do those simple things, man, I mean, you talk to the right people. It's all about, consulting.
Okay. And how soon should, I think you mentioned before, a credit card is a double-edged sword. You can really use it to help you, fund your business, fund whatever you want. Yeah. If for example, I have personally an Amex card. I get some points. You can kind of use that stuff for flights or buying stuff, whatever, right? So there's a lot of incentives, right? Point is it imperative, if you're responsible, as soon as you can, to get a credit card?
Absolutely. I personally think so. I don't believe in secured cards. I just don't. I've been taught not to. Do a little bit of research, but it's kind of funny that you would be paying such a high interest rate on your own money, if that makes sense. So I mean, there's certain ways to slowly but surely build your credit. I'm not saying to go out there and just get put on like as an authorized user on a card. I mean, if you're really trying to get funding quickly, that's one of the ways to do it. But I mean, there's, like I said, there's My Jewelers Club. There's ways that there's like companies that you can pay to where you pay them monthly, and then at the end of the year they give you all your money back. But they're reporting. I mean, I'm sure they're like, doing some type of investing with it during that time. But you're guaranteed your money back at the end of the year.
Okay.
Year, right? And they're reporting an on-time payment. Throughout.
Okay. Wait, what's the highest FICO score you can have theoretically?
So I mean, you want to get into the quote unquote the 800s. Like I'm pretty sure it goes up to a 900. Is like where
Okay,
it
900. All right.
yeah.
So say you have 900, I have 800. Now the only benefit is that.
There's no difference. Okay, so where does it cut off at? I have it actually right here because I was just about to send a PDF to one of my brokers. So realistically, how that works. Boom. Where is it at? This is the scale for you.
Because I was gonna say, like, what difference does it make if you're 900,
So,
I'm 800?
okay, so quote unquote, it's 850. I guess that's the
Okay.
high. So that's excellent. So anything above a 750 to an 850 is the same. You're a rocket, right?
Okay.
700 to a 750, you're in that good range. Fares is 650 to 700, and then 560 to like 649 is considered bad, and anything under that, you just want to be able to reach out to me. If you're in the 3, 4s, or 5s,
All right.
you have a lot of work to do, but it's not something. I always tell people this, right? Because I mean, I've been able to change people's lives by getting, child support. You can't finance a hot dog with child support, unfortunately. And so, I mean, we've been able to really help some people change their lives and, just get back on track, regain their financial buying power. Bankruptcies, repossessions, I mean, you name it, been able to help them.
Oh, yeah. And I think, I mean, the spending problem we have here, people with credit.
Oh, absolutely.
It's really bad. So, of course, if you can help people in that front,
There's no
like even if you don't even like see them physically or
right.
a letter for, I think you are helping a lot of people in this respect because a lot of people, they do depend, on credit. And then, of course, if they can pay it by the end of the month or so, so be it. But pretty much this is really important because this can be in your record for like 7 years plus, and that's going to be really bad, right?
And then there's always going to be able to see it, underwriting. So, I mean, yeah, 100%. I mean, you just have to, if you haven't started, just slowly but surely, just get on it now. FICO 10, that's a real thing. That's not really, like I said, designed to help the consumer. But as long as I'm here just to educate, right? That's you are, man. Like you have a really great platform to be able to educate people and show a lot of different stories. And so, I mean, if I could just help one person, 2 people a week, I'm doing my job. I really do feel like, and that doesn't mean that, I'm selling them something. If I could just hop on, take a look at their credit and say, no, like just get a couple more secured cards. Like if that's where you're at, financially, then go ahead and do that. We're good. As long as I could just help you be in a better position than when you hopped on a call with me, I'm doing my job. And that's what people are kind of missing in sales nowadays.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And honestly, I'll be honest too. There's definitely those days where I'm like, oh, God, I haven't gotten a deal. Where like I'm dry right now, man. What's going on? And then you start kind of selling out of fear. But when you kind of take a step back and, remember what you're doing, you're helping people. It's a really great feeling, 100%.
Now, do people how does it work in your experience? Do you have to go to like warm leads, or do they come to you? Like, does your service, does your font,
shout out to our marketing team. Our marketing team is phenomenal, right? I'm spoiled when it comes to leads. I really, really am, right? So, especially this year, I mean, people have kind of fallen in a little bit of a hole, but we're here to help them. You know what I mean? I use federally consumer-based laws, like I said, to go ahead and go to war and dispute these, claims, right? So, the CARES Act, it has really helped out. It's really, with late payments and, things of that nature this year. So we're having, results are better than ever right now. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of just a perfect storm. Wait, and so we're about to get into the hot season.
Wait. So you have warm leads. So your marketing team gives you warm leads, and now it's your job to actually call those potential clients to really help them out, right?
Right, and just consult, right?
Oh, okay.
That's my main thing is I'm trying to get to that consultation. I'm trying to be able to look at your credit. And then, it's all fun and games until we get to that credit audit. And then it's just, okay, it's down to business. This is what I could do for you within this time, right? Because, go ahead.
It's all through calls, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. I mean, I set up Zoom calls.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually getting on a pretty dope. I'm excited to be working with this business. We're about to get them a lot of funding. It's a food truck business. And so that's actually like those bigger calls like that and stuff that I have, I'll go ahead and, hop on Zoom. with brokers and stuff, if they're local, I love meeting up with brokers. Like, why not, have that face to face? But 95%, it would be kind of silly of me. I love people to come to the office. Don't get me wrong, but it would be silly of me just to have all my meetings on like face to face, if that makes sense, right?
No, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about like the sales side of it. Of course, you're helping people out, but
Right.
You still need to close the deal,
Right.
and so like let them know that you're providing value for them. They have a problem, you have a solution. Now,
Right.
how do you meet those two together so you guys can actually do business?
Right. Because like, the favorite thing is at the end of the close, it's like, I'm sure you're wondering how much all this costs, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I go into well, listen, like, free service isn't good and good service isn't free. Am I right or am I right? And that's like,
yeah,
it's just the truth. But, realistically, if you're not providing enough, I hate this word. My guy Tino taught me this. Value is the most annoying word, but it's the truth. If you're not providing enough value, there's not going to be a point for them to, buy your service. Right. And so I could tell them $1 unless I was able to educate them enough and realistically, like, able to lead them down to where, okay, this makes sense. Like, there's no other option for me to get my credit repaired through, anyone else but this guy right here, because he knows what he's talking about. He was able to educate me. He was able to tell me where my cards need to be. To be able to keep it under 30%, what these, key derogatories are, things like that. That's how you're able to lead it to a close, right? Because, realistically, I'm not the cheapest around. It's just the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But, the level of service that they get, the money back guarantees in place, you're not betting on yourself in a way, right? And there's no reason that you shouldn't get the deal. And that's just kind of having confidence in what you do.
Yeah. But what's your process, your sales process of closing the deal? Because, people, they're really stressed out and the last thing they want to do is spend even more money. Right.
Exactly.
But of course you got to provide the value. So what's your step process?
Okay. So at the beginning, right? So it's building rapport. Okay. So at the beginning, I'm asking them questions. One of my favorite questions is, listen, no one really cares about, your credit score. No one cares about FICO. Everyone cares about what you can do with it, right? So, what are you trying to do? Trying to get into that new home, trying to get into a new car, trying to refinance, maybe get some business funding, right? Because then you're engaging with what they want to do. Oh, I want to get into a new home. Oh, that's awesome. Hey, I used to do real estate, have some great connections. Where are you from? Oh, you're in Texas? I have a lot of friends in Texas. Once we get you high enough above, a 680, you're a rocket. I have some lenders out there. I'm sure I can get you connected. Where do you want to buy? Right. And then they're going to start talking about where they want to buy. You're going to start painting a picture. They're going to get that warm, fuzzy feeling like, okay, this guy cares about me. He's going to really want to help me get to my goals. Right. Because it's the truth. I do want to help people get to their goals. Because without that, I want to find that problem. Without that problem, there's no sale, if that makes sense. Yeah. Right.
So you try to find the root of the problem of what they really want and then kind of reverse engineer from there.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then as I'm looking at the credit profile, I'm looking at certain key things to be able to see, okay, like, are they in a financial bind right now? Is what I'm going to do hurt them even, because if you're not paying your bills on time, right? If you're taking new credit out, you're pulling credit, and I'm disputing all this stuff, it's just going to be counterproductive, and we're going to stay at a standstill. So I always let my clients know, like, listen, as long as you're doing your part, I'm doing my part. We're good to go. We're going to get you to where you want to be, but it's a partnership at that point.
Yeah. Okay. So once you kind of build that rapport, you find out the root problem, you reverse engineer that. Now, what's the next step after that? How do you really close them or convince them that, look, you're the right person for them and that they really need this?
Yeah. So I'm thankful that Timo has invested so much, right? So, we have a 4.9 star rating on Google. It didn't just happen overnight. Most big credit repair companies have like 2 stars, 3 stars. And it's because you can't keep, no disrespect. And I hope that if my clients listen to this, I'm not.
Yeah.
Bad credit people are bad credit people. They're pretty difficult. There's can be times where they're difficult to work with in a way, if that makes sense. It's just the truth. And so you can't make everyone happy. So for us to be able to have, I think we have 3 bad reviews. In every one of them, we were able to come to some type of resolution with them. But the hundreds of other positive reviews, I just say, listen, judge me on my losses. Go take a look at that. We're in Time Magazine, Yahoo Finance. Timo's been, on like, the New York Times. Like a lot of great articles have been written to where, you know, if I'm able to educate you enough, if I didn't educate you enough, I'm not selling it. It's just the truth. You're not going to want to do business with me. I mean, you know, I'm a fast talking guy. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
You know? But if I'm able to educate you enough, there's not going to be a reason that you're going to want to walk away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that the key aspect here? Because I feel like, you know, all this credit scores.
I have to sell through education.
The lingo is extremely confusing. So I feel like you do have to sell them through education because this, like, it is confusing, at least to me.
No, and I mean, 100%. I mean, that's just sales across the board, though. You know what I mean?
Oh,
you're
yeah.
finding a problem and you're educating them on a resolution, if that makes sense, right? Thankfully, I'm in a service to where, and it's not thankful in a way, but you can't feel your credit score, right? So I have to sell it on that dream of going back to, okay, well, what's your goal?
That makes sense.
That makes sense, right? Because I mean, I can't grab it like this computer.
Yeah.
You know? I can't grab it like this phone. It's intangible. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you kind of have to sell or really add an emotional aspect to it so they can really grasp. Yeah, it's a good it's a good tactic for sales, you know, really being emotional or using that. And
not to be manipulative, because that could be manipulative.
Right? Oh, of course, yeah.
But in a realistic way to be able to go back and say, well, listen, this is why you're doing this. This is your why. You know, you want to get your family into a new home by summer, right?
Yeah.
And that's why it's honestly such a great feeling, because it's like, I know I could genuinely help these people. If they're trying to get into a new home, I know where you need to be. I know what you need to do. I'm able to look at your credit and be like, you know what, we can get this done in 60 days, right? Let's get this going. And that's such a phenomenal feeling to be able to have, like, you're giving people a second chance, if that makes sense.
For sure.
This isn't something that, I mean, if this just happens, you have 7 to 10 years, 5 years, 3 to 5 years, you know, depending on what it is. Like late payments, like 60 to 90 days, will stay on 3 to 5 years. 7 to 10 for, you know, 120 and up. You know, so that's not fair. So we give people, you know, a second chance in a way. And that's
for sure. Yeah. So Khai, let's kind of shift this convo a little bit. So I know previously you're working for ASAP for your credit business right now, and you said you have to work for someone else.
Yeah.
To kind of get out of your shell and, you know, do something independent along the way, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right? So you already have experience before, like in sales. You're working with the ASAP Credit Solution, so you have experience in sales and whatnot, right? So what are your projects right now so you can become, I guess, more independent and create your own projects? Like what?
I'm really excited for 2021. So I mean, my big goal right now is, so I have Flawless Consulting, right? And Tim gave me a great shout out to him. It's the bank robbery. So I need you guys to give him a follow, right? So my guy Timo, he gave me a great opportunity by pretty much, you know, not only leading the horse to water, but making it so that, like, it was the most delicious water to drink. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason that I can't take this and change so many people's lives, but not only change my, like, you know, lives through credit and consulting, but change my team's life, right? So, you know, I have big plans for 2021. I'm trying to, you know, get 3 to 5 brokers a month under my team that are making at least $2 to $3 grand extra, you know, on top of whatever you do. Most of the time, you know, those guys are in mortgage, solar, the car business, people that are running credit a lot, right? That doesn't mean that you can't hustle and do it outside, because I know that there's so many digital marketing people that you talk to and stuff that, you know, could take advantage of that as well. But yeah, so 2021, I'm trying to just start building my team, mastering, you know, realistically credit repair, you know, get that 10,000 hours in so that I can feel like, okay, I'm really here. I'm a staple, and I'm going to be able to change a lot of people's lives forever, not just a short amount of time, right? Not trying to burn out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You think that's a good thing for, like, a mentor? You know, of course, you're working with him, under him, whatever you want to call it. But, you know, after a certain period of time, as you get more and more experience, you kind of have to let go and you have to be independent and work on yourself. And it's very different between, like, having someone there to help you out and then being totally independent and having your own team.
He literally told me this from the beginning too, right? We were you know, in a meeting, and he was like, I only want you guys, like, using my leads for like 6 months to a year at most, right? Like, I want you guys to be running your own ads. I want you guys to be, like, proactively building out, like, you know, your broker programs and stuff. Like, I want this to be your guys' business. I'm you know, leading you guys to, like I said, a pretty big pond, and it's a deep one. You know what I mean? And so, you know, there's so much that you could do. And I don't think, I don't really think that this broker thing has really been, milked yet and used. Like, a lot of people can make a lot of money on the side. I could help a lot of people with, growing as an entrepreneurs. It's just one of those things where, like, and it's not even like a marketing thing, right? That's what it's kind of sounding like. But like, if you're able to, you take the payment, you educate them. I'm going to teach you how to educate them on credit, like I am, right? The only thing you're using is my dispute strategies, and I'm taking care of the back end. And so these people are, like, in essence, building their own business as well, right? You can go and you can create your own consulting firm as well, and go and do that, and just work with me. And so, yeah, 100%. I mean, it's kind of giving people a really big, opportunity to do what they want. As large as this is the first place I've ever been without there being a ceiling, a real ceiling. There's no cap for anything, and for a, quote unquote boss. He really is. He's a leader. He's not even a boss. He's a real leader to be able to say, like, no, like, I don't want you guys to always be working for. I want you guys to be able to go out there and, like, have your own why. I'm excited. My big goal is to be able to have that broker program and 2 trucks by the end of 2021.
Wait, you said the 2 trucks?
Like 2 semis. So he does.
Okay.
He actually just got his semis underwrote. He got 2 semis, like, in the same week. Him and his business partner. On the trucking side of things. And so, I mean, he's going to be making 10 to 15 grand a week, passively,
Wait, what do you mean? What's his business model? Like, for the trucking?
So there's a lady that's going to be helping him. She takes a percentage, and she pretty much books she books everything from the driver, to the insurance. She maintains the trucks. But he just had to put the capital up for the trucks and the driver.
Oh, okay.
And she takes a percentage based off of her freight, like her freight routes, right? And so he's just pretty much getting this passive income from transportation, which will probably never die, like, in the next, 50 to 100 years. I can't really see, unless we're, like, zapping shit places. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. So that's a great business model. And,
okay.
My buddy Prince, he actually, for a while, he was doing real estate, doing pretty well. And he was like, man, like, I'm just not, my heart's not there. He was living someone else's dream. It's just the truth, right? And he went off and he got a couple of trucks. And now, he's posting that he's getting, wholesale fees, wholesale commissions, fucking weekly from this trucking stuff. Sorry for my French, but it's awesome. It's awesome that, if you're really hungry nowadays and you consistently do something every single day and you lay 1 brick before you go to bed, you're going to build some type of empire.
Damn, that was actually pretty deep.
Yeah. You're doing that, though. You know what I mean? You really are. I see you. Bro, it's sick.
Thanks, man. I do appreciate that. But yeah, I did that line of business of the trucking. That's pretty new to me. I guess, like, that's another way of making passive income.
Once you see me, like, actually, like, I always say, like, let my friends, let me be the one that, the guinea pig. Let me test it out. There's no reason not to put your friends on like that, bro. So I feel like we're definitely gonna be having those conversations a lot, and just, like, staying up to date with each other.
Yeah, man. So you think 2021 is gonna be a big year for you?
I mean,
feel it.
Listen, everyone's
an
like,
ambitious one.
2020. I'm so excited. I honestly just going to continue to lay bricks. If I can get 1% better every single day, man.
Okay.
At the end of the year, I'm going to be 365% better. So that's just the goal, and that should be everyone's goal. It's just to, just continue to grow as much as you can. I'm really excited to be able to, like, build that vision board this year and lay specific goals out to be like, all right, let's get this. It's going to be a great year.
So, Khai, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I need to ask this. If there's a resource or a book, a podcast that you recommend people to kind of learn about, at least your personal finances, a credit score, whatever it is in terms of finances, something that you recommend them to check out?
So, honestly, I mean, there's tons of YouTube videos. That stuff is all super boring. So follow me on Instagram. I honestly daily, probably for the next 60 days, I'm going to post every single day a credit tip, right? And follow my guy, the bank robber. But the books that have really changed my life: Think and Grow Rich, Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, and The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And so, great books. And I mean, this podcast is pretty great, also, man. I've been listening to some episodes. I'm hyped that you had me on for a second time. I think this is way better than
Yeah.
one. And
No,
I think
the first one was funny. The first one was fun though. It was
I
really
appreciate
fun.
it. I like it. I like it.
Nah,
This
the
one,
story was good. I like listening to stories like that, to be honest.
and I definitely want you to send me some clips so I can post them on my gram and stuff as well.
Will do, bro. Dude, it was a pleasure again. Once again.
It was a super pleasure. We're gonna chop it up in 6 months on another one of these, and
For
we're just
sure,
gonna keep.
bro. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Let's do it.